Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Catch This again. We all know what is happening at Bawku. There's what some chieftaincy litigation and what dispute that is what going on, but you don't know the history and what the causes of what of this fight. What you all know is what there's what some land litigation, there's what some chieftaincy litigation that is happening. Then the people are fighting, they are killing themselves. No, but you have to what, know the history. Avoca, who is what the member of what parliament, the member of parliament for Zimbabwe constituency. He said he has stayed there for long. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe because we bring out every update concerning what this, and you get what any trending things you get at what case to do. So don't forget to subscribe. During an interview with Avoca in what Metro TV, he explained what vividly about what the causes, the whereabouts, the start of this conflict. So I'll pause and I'll continue the video so that you get to know what the history and the whereabouts of what of this conflict.
For those who have not followed this and do not know a lot about this, what is this Bawku crisis about?
Dr. Randy, thank you for the opportunity. I'm very saddened that many of the commentators on this issue do not actually know the facts or the background, and then they prefer to give expert advice, whatnot and whatnot. Others also know, and they are not honest enough to talk the truth. The problem we have with the Bawku issue is that people don't want to accept the truth. And people don't want to accept the fact that we have the rule of law and due process. Now, let me just give you a brief background of Bawku. Bawku, as I've indicated, is predominantly Kusasi. And now, the Mampurisi came to Bawku during the Trans-Saharan trade, when goods from the south used to come to Salaga, goods like gunpowder, drinks, cola nuts, etc., would come from the south to Salaga. Then from Salaga, they will come to Nalirugu. Then from there, they will descend to Bawku. Then go to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, etc. So that was the Trans-Saharan trade route. And then on their way back, they passed through the same route. The history is documented. And it is that the Kusasis in Bawku used to waylay the traders, coming either from the north or south, and then seize their wares. So, on account of that, because they used to come from and settle in Nalirugu first, the Nayiri decided that, okay, he will establish a police post in Bawku to protect the traders when they were going south, coming back from the north to the south, or going from the south to the north. So he sends a few Mampuri to Bawku to settle there and then maintain the trade route. So it is because they said the story that the Kusasi were there and then harassing the traders. That's why the Nayiri decided to do that. So they came there, but they were not chiefs over Kusasis, who were the Tindanes and landowners and everything. They all coexisted, because the Kusasi were not particularly part of this trading business and whatnot. Now this is what happened. And normally when a community comes to some place like Kusasi who are in the crowd, we have the Kusasi community chief, we have the Fafra community chief and the rest of them. But none of them can ever aspire to become the Gamanche. No matter how strong or wealthy they become, they cannot become Gamanche. Because they have come to settle here and do business, they cannot become Gamanche. The Ashantis accounts are many in the crowd. Some of them could even number the Gan, but they can never become Gamanche. That is the story of Bawku. Then, when the Europeans came in 1901, they were going to rule the area through chiefs because they didn't have the administrative personnel. So they settled first in the Nalirugu Gambaga with the Nayiri. That's why the white man settled first. And then from there, the Nayiri princes and then the interpreters and facilitators escorted them down the scarp to Bawku. Naturally, when they got to Bawku, they were set with their brethren who were there already protecting the trade route. The white man wanted to see one chief controlling the whole area, but because we are a cephalus, we didn't have one person control the whole area. There are Tindanes and clan heads and the rest of them. So the white man just decided that, okay, since the Mampurisi no chieftaincy and they want the chief to rule them, they will make the Mampurisi settlers in Bawku, the Bawku Naba. That is all. That is all. So since then, the Kusa have been struggling, and then they caught up with the independence struggle, etc. In 1956, the Mampurisi Bawku Naba died. The Mampurisi Bawku Naba died in 1956. And in 1957, the Mamprises left Bawku to go to Nairobi. They normally go to the northern region to the Nigeria for enskinment to come back and rule the Kusasis in Bawku. So the Kusas said, look, Ghana, we are struggling for independence, that the white man should go. So you also go back to your Nairobi if you want to be chief. You cannot be chief over us. So while the Mampris were in Nairobi trying to get as chief, the Kusas also decided to enskin their own veteran to be a Kendana of Bawku to be their chief. So at that time, in 1957, June 1957, there was a Nigerian enskin Mampris chief of Bawku and a Kusasi enskin Bawku Naba. Then the colonial governor, it wasn't Kwame Nkrumah, but people have the history, and I can give you documentation after this. The colonial governor, the last colonial governor, Lord Listowel, set up a committee. He said he couldn't recognize any of them without investigations. He didn't want to act arbitrarily. So he set a committee of inquiry to ascertain the claims of the Kusasis and the Mamprises as to who are the landowners then supposed to be the traditional rulers of Bawku. The committee was chaired by one of Opoku Afare, a lawyer from the Volta region. The two other members were Nana Ajimambadu, the first, then late Domahini, and Luri Canton, the second, Tumukuru at the time. They went to Bawku and settled there and then investigated it and presented a report to the then colonial governor that in fact the Mampris came there as settlers. They were Kusasi there doing everything and whatnot and whatnot. And that is why it's only a Mampris family, but Kusasi is a whole tribe and the rest of them. And therefore it is administratively, politically, and developmentally wrong for the Nigeri who has a family in Bawku to impose the Mampris chief on the Kusasis extra. That is untraditional, uncultural. The colonial governor accepted the report and issued a white paper recognizing the Kusasi man, Abu Raga Zoka I, as Bawku Naba and the head chief of the Kusasi area. Now let me explain this technical thing, Bawku Naba and head chief of Kusasi area. In 1932, the Colonial District Commissioner in Bawku signed, brought all to 18 divisional chiefs from the Kusas area, that Bawku West, Pusga, Garu, Timpan, and whatnot, and said that he settled in Bawku. So they should make Bawku Naba their leader. They should make the Bawku Naba leader so that he can be dealing with the Bawku Naba, who can also deal with them. So in 1932, the Bawku Naba was raised to the state of paramount chief over the rest of the Kusas area. So the fellow from 1932, the fellow who was described as Bawku Naba also became the head chief of Kusas area. That is the same, is synonymous. Bawku Naba or head chief of Kusas area is the same fellow. Yala Bawku Naba or paramount chief of Kusas is the same fellow. Then when the committee made this finding to the colonial governor and Lord Listowel issued the white paper, the Mamprises were unhappy and went to the High Court. That time the High Court was called Divisional Court. On the ground, not on the facts of the case, but the fact that the colonial governor erred by saying that the Bawku Naba is also a head chief of Kusas area. That was just the technical thing they appealed against, but not even the substance. And the High Court ruled in their favor and quashed the committee's report and then the colonial governor's white paper. Then the Governor General and then the Kusas appealed to the Court of Appeal. And that time, that was the highest court of the land at the time on these issues. Who are to be chiefs of Bawku, Kusasi or Mamprises, etc. Then the Court of Appeal, the High Court of Land, chaired or presided by Sir Akukosa, then Chief Justice, Granville Sharp, and Van Leer. They wrote a certain judgment based on the committee's report, etc., and said that in fact Bawku is for Kusasis. Mamprises have no right to be chiefs in Bawku. Court of Appeal decision, and that was final. So there were peace and harmony in Bawku. Then 1966, National Liberation Council overthrows Kwame Nkrumah. And for no reason, they decided that all the Kusasi in Bawku should be distilled. So they were distilled by Decree 112 in 1966. The Kusasi have been petitioning governments and whatnot until AFRC. We led a demonstration in Bawku when Rollins came to Bawku, and we said, we need social justice. You are looking for social justice, this is part of it. But he said that, look, they have come for house cleaning exercise, they didn't come to do chieftaincy. So they should present a petition to Liman, who had won the election already. Liman didn't look at the matter because he had only 2.5 years and then left. Then Rollins came back, and Kusa petitioned PNDC. And they passed PNDC law 75. After studying the situation, they said the people were there through due process, from Committee of Inquiry, through to High Court, through to High Court of Appeal. So how can you come and pass a decree distilling them when the highest court of land had judged in their favor? So PNDC law 75 was passed in 1983, restoring the Kusasi Bokunaba to the Court of Appeal decision of 1958. That had been the status quo. Then in 1996, the government, through Justice VCRAC CRAP, decided that there were some laws that are no more that are in the statute books that have no use. They have achieved their purpose. In fact, they have become spent law. So PNDC laws, some many arrests were repealed. And by law, if you benefit from a law and then they repeal it, your benefit, you are now even further benefited because nobody can attach. There's no law for somebody to challenge. So in 2001, the one priest came to President Kufuor. He said, "We are MPP with you." Indeed, the tradition that the Bokuma priests are traditionally UP, the Kusasis are traditionally CPP. That is a fact. So they came and said, President Kufuor, seize the chieftains from Kusasi for us. And Kufuor told them that, look, but by the constitution, I cannot discipline a chief, and I cannot install a chief. I cannot also do anything. If we go to court, and I understand Kufuor took them through history and said that they should abandon their claim because there's no way they can go back to Boko and become chiefs. They refused and went to the Supreme Court in 2003 under President Kufuor. And Akufo-Addo's Chambers was the one that filed the petition against the Bokunaba. His Chambers was the fellow that did the case in the Supreme Court against the current Bokunaba. Then when the case was to be heard on a particular day, the Mamprusi chiefs filed a notice, Mamprusi lawyers filed a notice of discontinuance at the Supreme Court with liberty to come back or to reapply. That day I was there. Justice Aqua, Brobe, Dr. Seth Chum and others, they presided. And they said, why do you want to withdraw? You voluntarily brought this case. They asking for a declaration. The PNDC law 75 declared null and void. Asking for a declaration that only a Mamprusi priest can be Bokunaba and not a Kusasi man. These are serious matters. And why do you want to withdraw? Then, hello?
Yes, we're listening.
Good. Yeah, just wind up. Then the Mamprusi lawyers said that when they read the Bokunaba's defense, they have no legs to stand. I'm quoting them. That they have no legs to stand. That means they have no case. Because they discovered that PNDC law 74 will not be in the statute book for them to challenge. They discovered that under the Constitution, you cannot, if you don't hail from a particular area and the rest of them, you cannot become chief. So the Supreme Court said, okay, you are at liberty to withdraw your case, but you have no right. Because the Supreme Court had stated the documentation that we had filed, the court case we had filed, the court decision we had filed. They said, you can withdraw your case, you are at liberty to do that, but you have no liberty to bring any action in Ghana to any forum challenging the Kusas man as Bokunaba under Articles 270 and 277 of the 1992 Constitution. That you have no right at all. There might be an end to litigation. You are being vexatious. You have no case, and you are wasting everybody's time. The rule of the Supreme Court is there. 3 lines. That's 2003 and the MPP. So this thing, the status quo remained. Bokunaba became a chief and whatnot until 2021. And I presume because Akufo-Addo Chambers handled their matter in 2003, they thought that now that Akufo-Addo is going for his last term, then they must twist his arms so that he can use politics to impose a chief, make the chief of Bawku against all the due process of law and the rule of law. So 2021, they said that the former Mamprusi chief who died in 1981, we protested. Government, we even went and got an injunction to restrain them from doing such a thing. They still went ahead to do it. Government did not arrest them for contempt of court. Then from then, government led them, security escorted them out of Bawku to Nayiri, to Nalerugu. Then in February 2023 last year, they enskined a Bawku Mamprusi man as Bokunaba. And the security guards. We couldn't do anything because we can't fight the Ghana armed forces. And then government said that, we have made a mistake. So they went, Nigeria had no right to enskin a chief. There's a legitimate Bokunaba. That government own statement that the enskinment is illegal, etc. So they went to High Court in Bolga. The state went to the High Court in Bolga and got an arrest warrant that they were going to arrest both the Nayiri and the person he enskined in Bawku, while Sedo Abagre. when there were protests in the northern region that you can't arrest their paramountcy, they dropped the case against Nairi, but maintained the arrest warrant on this fugitive. Then the case came on appeal to the Court of Appeal in Kumasi, and they quashed the warrant. They said that it should have been the district court that should issue the warrant and not the high court, and therefore they quashed it. Against that background that this fugitive has gone back to Bawku, and we now are seeing this bloodshed going on. Indeed, last week, when the appeal court quashed the arrest warrant, I called the National Security Minister, who is a good friend. I called Mr. Asomani, National Security Coordinator. I called Honorable Mr. Adami, Attorney General, and I told them that if they let the man go back to Bawku, there will be bloodshed. What they should do is that while they have filed appeal against the court appeal ruling to the Supreme Court, they should just go back to Bolga, ask the district magistrate, the AG department there, to file a fresh action at the district court for a fresh warrant of arrest, and then you are done. They said yes, they will do that. So
Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.